Today we are tasting this sampler from Rwanda, so Rukeri, and it is from Camellia sensinis. It's a sample package. I got a bunch of samples so that I could try a bunch of different locations at once. This says 95 degrees Celsius for 3 to 4 minutes. Of course, I'm going to do it with my 20 seconds deep in the beginning, as always, probably at the 100°C. So I dumped it out in my cup. You can see it's a rich black color, and I think I got enough for about 3 steeps or 3 sessions. I was anticipating CTC, the really cut, tear, curl, because my book says the one tea that they got from Rwanda, that was mostly what they did. But I was pleasantly surprised to see this medium twisted tea. It's kind of a medium size, not too small, not a large leaf. So the dry doesn't have much scent. I'm really anxious to see what the wet is going to smell like, and we're going to do a short steep. So I think the wet tastes very much different than the dry. I'll go over my notes later, but here's the color of the liquor. We got some milk. We're going to try our tea with some milk because it's not my favorite tea. It's been milked. Here are my notes for the Rwanda Rukeri, and we got this sample from Camellia sensinis out of Canada. We did the tasting on December 11th. It is a black tea, and here's where Rwanda, Africa is. It's about right here. We see this body of water here, and then some more water here. And here's another look of it. And you can see it's really close to Kenya. Now, I had previously did a tasting of some tea from Kenya that said that this Lake Victoria, the winds blowing from it influenced the taste of the tea. So that made me wonder. I don't think the wind is going to blow this way, but there is a little lake still right next to Rwanda, and I wondered if that might influence the taste of the tea. It's just something always curious. It's definitely very small, because you see how Kenya is and where Kenya is on the map here. So this area is super small. And there's a closer look of it with the lake there. So it's processed as a black tea. I was pleasantly surprised. I have a book that you may remember I'm trying to go through in order to taste all the teas, and they had a tea from Rwanda, but it was a different kind of tea, and they had an explanation in the book that most of the teas from there were CTC. And this tea was pleasantly this medium twist, very, very nice full leaf. It's traditionally called more an orthodox rather than a CTC. From the notes from the website, it says it's produced at a 1,600 meters in the mountains by cooperative farmers. So we know height has a difference on the tea leaves and how they taste. It said it was a classic breakfast signature style, high altitude, high quality standards. It's strong, full-bodied, boasts malt and vegetable notes, tobacco, sweet pepper, We have bell peppers, which could be sweet peppers or um, not so sweet, like a traditional green one. So I'm assuming that that is maybe what they're talking about. And I was kind of looking for that bell pepper taste because I do like those. Um, Important is the variety of the cultivar, which is a Simica. I'm assuming that's how that's said. Um, this variety is well known to be from Assam, and those are not my favorite kinds of teas, the Assam blends. So I kind of got an idea in the beginning that this might not be my favorite. If you like those full tastes of black breakfast-like teas, then this might be for you. It said the nuances of dried fruit, cocoa, and spices, particularly a camphor spice. I need to get camphor because I'm not quite sure how it smells. I think of it as a medicine, but I'm not sure that that's correct. I need to find something that has it so I can learn more about camphor. So when we did our tasting, I first got spice. And it says airy was the first word to come to mind when smelling the dry, and then grassy, and then a spice of some kind. And I was stuck on a spice. And I was thinking it might be cinnamon, but I wasn't sure. Maybe it was camphor, and I just don't know what that is. But I definitely pulled out, it took me a little bit of thinking, spice. But that was in the dry. When it was wet, the leaves smelled totally different. And I definitely got this bitter, unsweetened chocolate. And so it, I believe, mentions that up here, maybe not. And after tasting, we also determined it was tobacco-like, which is earthy. So the chocolate's still going to be in your bakery spice, and your tobacco-like is going to be earthy. The color was your traditional brown. That's the most common color. Body, I put as medium, not so much full body. Astringency is in the bright light category. That's exactly where I like it. And that, of course, was with just a 20-second steep. I kind of wanted to rate it as a 3, but I was recognizing that bitterness and not the astringency. So to learn the difference between bitterness and astringency is something very hard to do in tea tasting. I'm still trying to learn it. So I wanted to do a 3, but I recognized that I was picking up on bitterness and not astringency. So it stayed in the bright light category. When I added the sugar, I could tell better that it was not more astringent, and that was a plus for me. The taste, bitter chocolate is what I got, just like the wet smells. Not so much the dry, but the wet. And hubby suggested burnt, and I could get that too. And I agree and think that it's like the tobacco flavor suggested by the website. We both were talking about it, and we decided that maybe that burnt that we were getting was tobacco, and we don't necessarily like tobacco and maybe only faintly know what it smells like. I definitely don't know what it tastes like. But being a Simica, I can totally tell it is like the India teas that are not my favorites. India teas, I'm going to type this in here, Assam, to clarify. It tastes okay with sugar, but not just milk alone. So we did try adding the milk. Didn't quite like it with just milk. With milk and sugar, it reminded me more of a chai, which that bounces right back to my thought of spice. So that's kind of cool how that kind of all comes around together and my thought processes go. Uh, Finish was lingering and aromatic, and in fact, most certainly lingering, as I could taste the bitterness at the back of my tongue for a very long time. And that's something I don't like. And I only gave it 2 hearts. I know that's pretty strong, but hey, I got my cheat sheet up there just okay. I swallowed it, and I swallowed it a little bit better with sugar, and I don't want to use sugar. And so it's not my favorite. It may be your favorite. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't. If you like the Assam teas, try this. It may be for you. But I would probably not buy it again. And that is kind of where my true 5 heart is where whether I would buy it again or whether I'd buy it so much I'd keep it on hand, which would be 5 stars. It's actually not as bad as some of the other teas of this cultivar, so I will give it credit there. I can drink it okay with sugar and milk.